If you've ever felt silenced by gatekeepers, consider this: early Christians used healing words like focused spells and Mary-led. If that jars you, good. It was buried so you doubt your own inner healer. This matters because authority still tells us who may speak and who may heal. Curious to see how power shifted, Orthodoxy built authority around bishops and official sacraments. It prized hierarchy over tested personal practice. Gnosis offered a different path. Healing spells here means short, focused sayings paired with breath and attention. They calm fear and organize the mind during illness or crisis. What would a Christianity centered on inner knowing and proven fruit look like? The Gospel of Mary appears in the Berlin Codex 8502, a Coptic manuscript acquired in Cairo. That contrast shows up starkly in the Gospel of Mary. In it, Mary relays a version of Jesus who resists rigid prescriptions. He says, "Do not lay down any rule." Those 4 words undermine a system that treats lists and offices as sole arbiters of care. How could a church structure survive such counsel? Picture a thoughtful deacon visiting sick families. She keeps careful records and follows diocesan directives. Mary's teaching, emphasizing inner peace and conscience, would offer her immediate tools to comfort and heal. Quoting the Gospel of Mary in a sermon risked censure or loss of position. Yet she saw how non-clerical healing restored households. Does that tension sound familiar today? Resistance had teeth. Irenaeus of Lyons attacked secret gospels around 180 CE. Bishops later fixed canonical lists to secure uniform teaching. In 367 CE, Athanasius of Alexandria published his festal letter listing accepted books and warning against others. Councils like Laodicea in the 4th century restricted reading non-canonical works in church and effectively erased those texts. But here's the paradox. Today, those old power plays still shape who gets authority in churches and clinics. If a practice restores peace, compassion, and clarity, you can value it even if it's not on an official list. Have you ever wondered why inner discernment feels threatening to institutions? So what did Mary actually teach that empowered non-experts to heal and lead? Let's open the one source that preserves it. If you've ever wished for permission to trust your own mind, official religion often withheld it. Orthodoxy favored right belief and public rights as the route to power. That system decided who could teach and who must obey. Mary's voice disrupts that hierarchy by offering a tiny embodied practice anyone can test. Curious how a short line can shift your state. Orthodoxy centers right belief and ritual. The alternative centers right attention. Anyone can practice alone. The Gospel of Mary frames salvation as an inner process, not a legal verdict. It elevates women's teaching and describes the soul's rise past material forces. Have you ever wondered why inner discernment feels threatening to institutions? So what did Mary actually teach that empowered non-experts to heal and lead? Lops in mindem stare is they. Where's the trust that hierarchy by offering a tiny embodied practice anyone can test? Curious how a short line can shift your state. 3rd century. Scholars place its composition in the 2nd century. A scribe in a small Egyptian monastery copied Mary's sayings onto a leaf for a lay neighbor. She could not read much, but she remembered the line about the mind. When a child ran a fever, she focused breath and the remembered phrase while nursing. Her panic eased, her hands steadied, and her caregiving choices improved. That tiny experiment mattered then, and it matters now. Later, bishops and councils treated Mary's stream as dangerous. Epiphanius of Salamis mocked and hunted Gnostic teachers in the late 4th century. Church leaders systematically erased or burned alternative gospels to consolidate doctrine and silence interior experiments. They acted explicitly to control who could claim spiritual authority and how. But here's the paradox. Mary's method is simple and testable. Place attention on breath, and a short line you shift physiology, quiet fear, and choose more wisely within minutes. The ascent past hostile powers maps naming fear, anger, and ignorance, and refusing their grip. Practice this now for 60 breaths, and notice how options widen. But this inner method challenged power. Let's see how named authorities targeted Mary's stream and tried to erase it. If you've ever been told to stop asking where a teaching came from, you've felt how institutions protect their version of truth. That insistence shapes what people believe and who leads. It also changes who gets to read certain books. Have you ever wondered why some voices were called dangerous while others became scripture? Stay with that question. It matters for your practice. The official story framed unity as safety. Bishops, councils, and emperors tied salvation to approved books and rites. The Gnostic alternative insisted on tested interchange and direct knowing. Mary's lines argued that salvation is an inner process, not only a public ceremony. Which authority do you trust, office and uniform creeds, or lived transformation verified by the soul? In the Gospel of Mary, Peter famously asks, "Did he really speak with a woman?" That line exposes how authority was policed. In the text, Levi leaps to Mary's defense and points to her insights. The manuscript questions a physical resurrection and elevates inner awakening. For many leaders that claim threatened a system built on male office and centralized teaching came from, you felt how institutions protect their version of truth. That insistence shapes what people believe and who leads. It also changes who gets to read certain books. Have you ever wondered why some voices were called dangerous while others became scripture? He chooses risk to keep a living transmission. Think about what you would hide to keep a healing teaching alive. Across the 2nd to 6th centuries, bishops and emperors hunted and burned rival books. Irenaeus of Lyons denounced secret gospels. Athanasius ordered Apocrypha expelled. Theophilus led destruction at the Serapeum, scattering libraries. Justinian issued laws that burned heretical texts, especially Manichaean works. Over time, leaders erased competing authorities to centralize power and protect creed. But here's the paradox. Mary's challenge to institutional control becomes your practical test. Her authority threatened male office, yes, but her teachings asked each person to verify truth by inner change. Measure any teaching by its fruits: peace, courage, ethical action. Watch for gatekeeping, who benefits when access is blocked. With the conflict named, let's decode Mary's symbols, so you can translate them into clear, usable steps. If you've ever been confused by talk of demons and powers, here's the translation. Mary's language maps your inner life in plain steps you can use. For early readers, demons, named states of breath, attention, and habit that matter. Mary's short statements acted as steps out of reactivity into clarity. Demons mean fear, rage, or ignorance, tightening breath, and hijacking action. Naming them reduces their hold. Try a short line on the exhale, inhale calm, speak on a slow out breath. Repeat 3 minutes to interrupt panic and recover choice. Now let's turn this decoded map into simple daily practice you can start today and share with others safely. If you've ever wished for a simple private way to steady yourself, Mary's lines can help. They also work for someone you love. Official teaching often says, wait for clergy to bless or interpret such moments. That delay can cost calm in crisis. Have you ever wondered why practical care was privatized? Mainstream history frames authority as top-down control, a clergy gatekeeping model. The Gnostic alternative in Mary emphasizes inner practice and immediate testing. It invites lay people to gain skill in peace, not permission. This flips power from institutions to individuals and caregivers. Could a short, repeatable practice make spiritual care accessible again? The Gospel of Mary says plainly, acquire my peace within yourselves. This follows Jesus' blessing and frames practice as inner skill. Manuscripts anchor this line. The Berlin Codex is a Coptic 5th century copy, acquired in Cairo.